Welcome to another edition of the D&D Morning Show. We're back at it. We've got a brand new episode here.
Super excited.
Oh, am I allowed to say brand new?
Well, it's brand new to whoever's watching it for the first time.
Drew always gives me these little tips.
I try to.
And then I forget them.
Or she just does what she wants.
Maybe a little of that too.
Which is the fun fact that we're going to start off with this morning.
What is that?
Dorothy's fun fact is she pretty much does what she wants. So I'm like, Dorothy, why don't you do this? And she's like, okay. And then she'll go and do whatever she wants.
And I do my own thing anyway. I just agree. Okay, Drew. And then I go do what I want.
She's like, oh, I forgot about that. I'm like, no, you didn't. You did what you
I just
want.
want to do it my way. But you're kind of like that too. Do your own way.
I like to do my own thing.
Yeah.
I like to step outside the box.
You know, why? Let's do this, Drew. Nah, everybody's doing that. Let's do it this way.
That's a little different though.
It is a little different.
Slightly different though. I like to think outside the box. Be original.
Yeah.
Be different. Express my art.
Oh boy. Make it stop.
I should have showed my snurdle.
Oh, you should have.
I did some artwork, a nice snurdle picture.
It's very good.
I'm going to show
Snurdle.
you guys in the next one, in another show.
Yes. You know what's funny? I just thought of what you're saying about this artsy creative side is that I'm gonna get deep here.
Oh boy.
But you never know what you're capable of until you put effort in that area. Like I didn't ever think I was like artistic or like talented in any way. But then, Drew and I started having these art nights with some friends, and it's crazy like what comes out. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I did that. Like, because you surround yourself in that environment of artsy people, in this case, and then stuff just comes out. Like Drew looked over, I was working on some cards, and Drew looks over and he's like, what do you got going on there? And I was like, I don't know, it's just what's happening, just what's coming out, I don't know. But
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think it's, you use different parts of your brain when you're actually do things with your hand, and you have to use your imagination and like stretch your comfort zone.
that's a big part of it, was the comfort zone. Because, we have friends that are very talented and artistic. So we would go to have art night with them, and it's like, oh my gosh, they're so good, and mine's not good, and I can't do this. But you just gotta like step outside that comfort zone, like you said, and just let it happen.
Well, you think like you have to do it one way, or like you're supposed to do it one way. Like we talked about structure in a past show, or like doing things the way you're supposed to do it. But when it comes to art or being creative, there's no way you're supposed to do it. Just whatever comes out, comes out.
Mm-hmm. And our friends are very supportive, and they're just do it. Yeah, just,
Yeah. All right. So what do we got going on?
What were we going to talk about today? Oh, we were going to talk about sleep, how to improve sleep today, because that's such an important piece. We eat right, we exercise, but if we're not sleeping right, then kind of would you agree with me if I said those things kind of go down the tubes if you're not sleeping?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like it's eliminated altogether, but I would say it's it's a big step in improving your health. And like we need to heal when we sleep. We need our body needs to recover, or rejuvenate. We actually build cells while we're sleeping. So it's so important to understand
like
that.
in my brain?
Your brain?
Like my brain will get bigger if I sleep?
Oh, it'll get bigger.
I should sleep all the time.
You get bigger than your head would be like.
What are you doing, Dorothy? I'm sleeping.
Growing brains.
I'm growing brains. Yeah.
So, why don't you give us some of your tips?
Sure. I got some tips for sleep because, that's one area that I really had to work on. I wasn't a good sleeper for the longest time, and I just accepted it. I don't sleep. But then we started working on it. So the first thing was creating a bedtime routine. Sounds kind of juvenile, sounds like a little kid, but it's true. We need those bedtime routines. So shut off the electronics at a certain time. For me, it's around 8 o'clock. Shut off the electronics, like no phone, no TV, no computer, and read. So you prepare your mind for quietness and tranquility.
Ooh, good word.
So you read or journal or art or something right before bed, because that's going to quiet your mind. If you're stimulated before you go to bed, then the mind's not going to shut down. Salt lamps too. I have salt lamps everywhere in the house, but we have a couple, right, where we sleep in our room. So salt lamps on, and lavender. That's another good one. Some essential oils, lavender it up, lather it on. Sometimes Drew's like, "Whoa, did you bathe in the lavender?" Because I might use a little much, but I love lavender. And I often will do a couple breathing exercises with my lavender. So you put a couple drops in your palm, you rub it together, and then put over like your nasals like this, and do a couple breathing exercises.
Deep breath.
Deep breaths, yeah, you just and out. But you keep your hands cupped like this, and then you get the oils through the body.
All right.
So we've got routines, we've got a bedtime, we've got salt lamps, got oils. What else to improve sleep?
Yeah, let me talk about routines real quick, just because morning routines are so important. I love morning routines. I love talking about them and doing them. Sometimes
obviously he cut me off to talk about routines, so he loves them.
Sometimes I go to sleep. I can't wait to wake up to do my morning routine. But if you bookend your days, so you have your morning routine in the morning, then you have an evening routine, then you have a routine on either end of the day, and there's no way you can't have success by setting your day up for success and then ending your day with success. Mm-hmm. So you sleep so much better with that evening routine. Mm-hmm. So that's very important. And then electronics was a big one. I think a lot of people have like a TV going, not only in their living room or I don't know, in the basement where you watch TV, but in the bedroom as well. Mm-hmm. The TV's going, and it's a stimulant, and it's keeping your brain going, it's keeping your emotions going, and your whole body is like watching TV, and you're into the show. And I think that's a big important step that Dorothy, that you're talking about. Excuse me, that you're talking about by. I lost my train of thought here.
Technology, shutting it off.
Yeah, by turning that TV off or staying away. TVs shouldn't be in the bedroom, like phones, for example. Like no phones should be in the bedroom. Those should be like little rules that we should live by, because those things are stimulants and they keep us awake in the evening. So those are important.
I did have my phone in the bedroom for a while, and my excuse is, well, it's my alarm clock. But then we got this I really wanted to commit to sleeping better, so I'm like, okay, that's it. I gotta find another alarm clock. So we have this 1970 alarm clock where you push the buttons. And sometimes she's like, set the alarm for da-da-da, and I'm like, oh man, that's so much work.
It's like old and brown.
Because you gotta push the hours, click, 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 and then the minute. Yeah.
But you can do something like that, especially because I don't know if they make too many new age types of alarm clocks
they
now.
Probably do. But we're just woo, vintage.
But you could find something old, but I guess what I'm getting at is there's other options. There's other ways to set an alarm clock instead of using those excuses like we do.
Like I did. Yeah. Another thing I thought of while we were talking was food before bed. So we're not saying don't eat before bed. Just pay attention and be careful to what foods you eat before you go to bed. And try not to eat a big meal right before bed. I know sometimes we get home late, we don't get around to supper till sometimes 8 o'clock, for example. But try to make it something light, like a big salad or stir fry, something that's easy to digest.
Yeah.
And stay away from chips and sugar and pop and all of those things.
Yeah, those are stimulants. They're also hard for our body to digest. Mm-hmm. So let's say, for example, Dorothy was talking a big heavy meal, like a big pasta meal, or a big old piece of meat, for example, where our body is taking energy that should be healing us and helping us sleep to digest that food. So those types of food shouldn't be eaten in the evening. Mm-hmm. And also chips and pop and sugar processed food. Those are high fatty, sugary foods that are toxins, and our body's fighting those toxins. It's trying to process, utilize, absorb. So again, that takes away from what we should be doing sleeping instead of like trying to process that food. And also it acts as a stimulant. So sugar, for example, it wakes us up. So we want to avoid those types of foods as well. And I think going back to like action movies or like even like exciting books, for example, like if you're getting yourself into a proper like evening routine, like maybe you dim the lights and maybe you could put on some essential oils in a diffuser, for example. Some light.
Great idea. He got that from me.
Some light like Zen music, for example, a nice relaxing book instead of like a book that makes your mind, for me, for example, I can't read any business books in the evening.
That's bad news. Bad news bears.
Because then all I think about is all different business ideas. So if you can think of something nice and light and relaxing in the evening to, I guess, put your body in a more restful state, then it's not like you're watching this action movie and then you like turn it off and like, oh, I can't sleep.
You have to prepare to sleep,
That's right.
You prepare for so many things. Prepare to go to the gym, prepare to go to work, prepare for all of these events throughout the day, but I think often we forget the steps to prepare to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I liked what you said about the Zen music. I like my Zen music.
It's nice. We put on in the morning as well. Like we wake up to nice, relaxing Zen music, and it's not like it puts you back to sleep. It like slowly wakes you up. But goes back to bookending your days.
Well, of course, I've got a recipe for you this week.
What do you got?
We're gonna talk about stuffed peppers.
All right. Delicious stuffed peppers.
They were very delicious, but I have to say the recipe came together by an accident. Wasn't planned. Drew came home from the grocery store with all of these green peppers that were on the discount rack. I'm like, man, what am I supposed to do with all these? And Drew says, well, why don't you make some stuffed peppers? So then I started, I thought that was a good idea. I started to make them, and we had like not a lot of ingredients. I was like, Drew, I don't have this, I don't have that, da da da. And he's like, I'm sure you can get a little creative. And then I'm like, fine. So then I started like pulling things out of the cupboard and out of the fridge, and found out we did have lots of ingredients to put in. So I started by taking the stem and the seeds out of the green peppers. I baked them, brushed them with some olive oil, and baked them in the oven for a little while, and put some some brown rice on the stove to cook. Then I used everything that I pulled out of the cupboard in the fridge to make my stuffing. So what I had was some mushrooms, some onions, and some garlic, which I sauteed in a bit of coconut oil first to soften them up a little bit. Then I had some baked beans. I had a jar of cohut corn from that we had canned previously, and some tomatoes.
Canned tomatoes?
Well, our tomatoes.
You canned tomatoes.
Did I say canned tomatoes?
You did not say canned tomatoes.
What did I say?
Our tomatoes.
Oh, what I meant was canned tomatoes what the confusion came from is we can our own tomatoes in the fall. So can of our tomatoes, and then I just started mixing it up.
This is where the artistic comes out in you.
I guess so. The artiste. So I put some rice, the rice was cooked, I threw that in the bowl, I threw the sauteed mushrooms, onions, and garlic in the bowl, the tomatoes, the canned tomatoes. You like that clarification?
Our canned tomatoes?
The corn, and then
start mixing it up.
I just started mixing it up, put some salt, some pepper, oregano, basil, all these spices in, some yumminess, some flavor, and a little bit of heat too. I put just a little dash of cayenne pepper, so to make it a little spicy. But then I'm like, don't think it's quite juicy enough. Didn't look like it had enough juice going on. So then I actually put some salsa.
Really?
Some salsa in there.
Oh, look at you go.
Because I only had the one. Well, I'm not sure why I didn't go downstairs and get another can of tomatoes. I was probably like, the salsa's right here. I'll put salsa in. And then I just put the stuffing on top of the sliced peppers and
Bake them. How long did it take?
Not too long, like 20 minutes.
Okay.
In the oven at 350.
All right, so there you go. That's a quick and easy way to create your own stuffed peppers. You don't have to have all the ingredients, but that's what you used, and they turned out fantastic.
Oh, there's so many things you could do. Like you could put anything in them. You could switch and put quinoa instead of rice. Oh boy, I could get going.
Okay.
I better not. I better stop myself.
All right, so do you have
The possibilities.
you have a quote?
I do have a quote.
What you got?
It's a little short quote. If it doesn't challenge us, it doesn't change us.
Very nice.
How you like that one?
That goes back to like pushing our comfort zone
It does.
that we accidentally talked about at the beginning
I
of the show.
planned that way. I planned for it that way.
Yeah.
I
So
liked that one.
always look for something to challenge you to make those positive adjustments in your life.
For sure.
I like that.
I like that too. That's why I chose it.
Good way to end off the show.
That's right.
All right, thanks so much for joining us on this edition of the D&D Morning Show.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
See you guys.
Bye.